Hello and welcome to another episode of Boxing with Bahal. Today we're not unboxing anything. Instead, I'm going to be showing you what it takes and how to clean your mechanical keyboard. Let's take a look at that. First, before you even begin anything, you're going to need a few supplies. You're going to need just a little bit of dish soap, fairly firm bristle brush, an old toothbrush will work well, just to be able to get the debris out from between there. And if you really wanted to, you could go ahead and you get some little makeup brushes, just in case you have some really stubborn debris and dirt that doesn't want to get out of there. And if you really wanted to take the rest of your keyboard apart, a little drill bit set would also help. And also remember that meanwhile, you don't need to have a keycap puller. It definitely helps a lot just because it prevents from scratching your keycaps and it prevents from you damaging them in any shape, way, or form. So the very first step you're going to want to do is you're going to want to disconnect your keyboard from its either power source or from wherever it might be plugged in. Just disconnect and make sure your keyboard is away from any sort of power source. And if it does have batteries, try to remove them. And if they are non-removable batteries, just go ahead and shut off the unit before you even begin taking off the keycaps. As a good measure, you should take a picture of your keyboard just so you do remember the layout in case you happen to forget it. And don't worry, if you do forget it, the majority of keyboards will come with an insert, or otherwise you can just look them up online. But without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. Now this is what your keyboard is going to look like once you have removed all of your keycaps. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put this very grimy thing aside for right now. Next, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put a little bit of dish soap as well as water. So once you fill it up with soapy water, again, just make sure that they're all covered to the top so that all the keycaps are submerged. And again, you're going to want to let this stand for about 10 to 15 minutes. Depending on the severity of your keyboard, you may or may not want to go ahead and remove the switches and go ahead and clean them out. In my case, I don't think that's necessary. Let's go ahead and try to start by removing some of this debris. You know what, guys, after giving this thing a closer inspection, I have determined that I do indeed need to pull the switches just because it's fairly dirty. There's a lot of debris that is caked on there, and I really just want to get in there. And if you are going to be pulling your switches, remember to use a switch puller just to make it a lot easier and to be very gentle with it. Here is what it would look like once all of your switches are taken off. And then you can take some of your soapy water that you were working with earlier today and just dip one of your microfiber cleaning cloths in there. Don't get it soaked, just a little damp. Just enough to be able to pick up the dust. And then just go across your keyboard and clean it, like so. Just again, you just want it to be damp. You do not want to leave any moisture behind. You literally just want it to be damp so you can pick up some of the dust that you have in there. And then use your brushes to get into those harder to reach places and those harder to reach corners. And also, don't forget the back of your keyboard. And then now that it's clean, we can go ahead and we can start the process of putting our switches back in. But before we do that, we actually need to go ahead and we need to clean up our keycaps that have been soaking in the soapy water for the last 15 minutes or so. So let's go ahead and give those a shot. Go ahead and rinse out your keycaps that have been sitting in the soapy water. Just simply let the water run till there's no more bubbles, there's no more soapiness in there. Once you've let the water run clear, you can go ahead and grab your keycaps out of there, and then now you can clean them one by one, like so. Just go ahead and do this, give them a nice little once over, and then little dirt, debris, junk that might have been in there, just go ahead and try to get it. Do your best to get it. Once you have allowed your keycaps to fully dry, you can go ahead and begin the arduous task of putting your switches back into your assembly. And have fun with that. When you put your switches in there, they should make a satisfying click and they should provide some resistance, but they shouldn't be impossibly hard to press in there. So now that we're done putting the switches back on, we could begin the painstaking process of putting our keycaps back on. Now, hopefully you either took a picture or your keyboard came with one of these. That way you can just refer back to it. Before you put them on there, you can just make sure that they're completely dry. For my case, I've given them almost 24 hours worth of drying, so they're pretty flippin' dry. And then this is what your keyboard ought to look like once it's fully assembled. And then at the end of it, just plug it in just to make sure that your whole keyboard works, that all of your switches are nicely lined up and that they're all working and that you didn't miss anything. Go ahead and leave it in the comments. What are your thoughts on this? Did I miss anything? What could have I done to make a better job? And as always, thanks for watching.